I sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. Oh, hello. It's the last party of the weekend. You're live here with 10 drink minimum. Let me bring everybody in here and unmute everybody. James Smiley is in the house. Hello, James.
Hi, Chris.
How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Nice.
Had a nice day trip up to Santa Fe.
Nice. We have Holly Ann here with us.
Hello.
Hello. And our special guest this week is music promoter one Joe Anderson. How are you doing, Joe?
Hi, great. in between some laundry loads.
Nice. I have been trying to get you on the show for 5 years now? Something like that?
I don't know.
First of all, how's everybody doing? Everybody's fine, pandemic-wise? You guys haven't been hanging out with President Trump recently and contacted any
I have
COVID?
not.
That's good. So
I so far have not contracted COVID.
that's good. That's a positive. Well, you don't know. I mean, nowadays it's kind of a tough deal. So I guess getting right into it, Joe. So you are a local music promoter. You kind of, run the scene downtown for the most part now, right? You're the music promoter for Sunshine Theater, Moonlight Lounge, Launchpad. I don't know if you book shows at El Rey or not.
Yeah, we do stuff at El Rey. I wouldn't say I run anything, but we have a lot going on.
Yeah, you have your hands deep in the local music scene. My mom is watching. She said she has no COVID, so that's good. That's a positive. So that's good. So one thing I want to know is how did it all start for you? What was the first concert that you ever went to growing up?
The first real concert, I think, was probably Rick Springfield.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Did you ever watch that documentary Sound City by Dave Grohl?
Yeah. I saw some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw an interview with him after they did that, and it's a really amazing documentary about this studio, for people out there, for the studio that produced a lot of hit records in the 70s and the 90s. And in the interview afterwards, they were talking to him and they were like, who was the one person you interviewed for the documentary that you were blown away by how great of a musician they were? And Dave Grohl was hands down Rick Springfield.
Yeah.
He was like, I will play drums for that guy any day. Yeah,
I saw them in Pensacola, Florida, with Till Tuesday opening. So they played, and no one was at the front of the stage, so I basically stood right in front of Amy Mann the whole set. So.
Oh wow! Dang! What made you want? I mean, were you a big Rick Springfield fan, or was that
it was just one of the big shows that came to town, and my friends and I just saw the tickets. I was, I think I was probably 13 or 14 at the time.
Oh. Were you blown away? Were you like, this is what I want to go see?
It was packed, so yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's not like that show got me into booking music, but
no. Someone in the chat, Tristan Rogers, the chef from Hall of Spirit, says mine was MC Hammer. Oof, that's an interesting one. I feel like that would have been a great concert in 93, 92. That'd be fun. So then Rick Springfield. So I mean,
Chris, MC Hammer is classic. How dare you?
Well, he is classic. I agree. He's a classic music and a classic example of how not to spend your money. A lot of different examples there. So whenever you what kind of concerts did you usually go to when you were growing up?
Like a lot of house parties and
Yeah.
In Pensacola and in Albuquerque. I lived in Pensacola until I was about 11, but then I spent every summer there with my dad until I was 18. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So when did you? So like I've lived here about 13 years, and I missed out on the Joe Anderson being in bands, situation.
Well, you're very lucky.
Oh, really? I saw you play. I got to see you play with Pilot to Bombardier once, and I was excited about it. So when did you get into like playing music?
Some of my friends and I in high school started a project, and I just started playing bass because it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name of that first band?
Oh God. I think Void Where Prohibited.
Yes. I love that. Void Were Prohibited. What was the kind of sound you guys had?
It was, punk and we're listening to Black Flag and Dead Kennedys and that kind of thing.
Wow. Where did you? Was that? When did you move here?
When I was 11, so that was like 81.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen this video of like the music scene from the 80s here. Have you seen this video floating around from the news? And it's pretty much about the music scene here.
Oh yeah, that was like the cover band scene, right?
Yeah, and like Joe Buffalino or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Buffalino, and then all the like cover band bars that were open.
Yeah. Was that predominantly what was going on back in those days?
Yeah, there was like a circuit, and there were bars like the Launch Site and Buckets and the Hungry Bear and confettis. So yeah, stuff that.
Jesus. And I just love it because people were like, we want to play our own music, but all they want is like for us to play top 40 songs.
Yeah, it was all like hair metal cover stuff.
Yeah. And like nowadays, if you were a band and like all you play is like top 40, you're going to kind of get stuck in the place, like bars that only want that. You're not going to get booked downtown.
Well, yeah, the choices for that right now are pretty limited scene. So
pretty limited scene. I just thought that was really funny because that's all they would allow them to play. They're like, we want to play our own music, man. It was like they should make a movie out of that. I'll write that script. Be like Albuquerque in the 80s. So whenever what was the first band you played in here in Albuquerque?
Let's see. Probably Bring Back Dad.
I've heard of this. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what was the scene like in say it was that 90s, later 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, like kind of mid 90s.
Mid 90s. What was the scene like in those days?
Back then there was a lot of inter-scene support.
Yeah.
So like, if there was like a decent local show, we'd be packed with, band members and fans from all genres, so it was a good punk show. You see the metal kids and the reggae fans and that, there was just support from the whole scene.
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of different from now.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like, if it's like a ska band, there's only going to be those fans.
Well, yeah, it's a lot. It's more splintered. The whole scene is more splintered as far as the support goes.
Yeah. It's a little weird because like I've lived here 13 years, and in 13 years I've seen it change pretty drastically. I mean, there was definitely that whole bluegrass mountain type music phase for sure. You had about 5 to 8 bands that would play that little circuit around town. They would play the breweries, the Squash Blossom Boys, Porter Draw, 3 String Bale, and that's kind of like dissipated out. And then you've definitely had, the indie rock scene kind of come back in. Oh, He's asking. We have a question from the crowd. How do you feel about the band What Lies Beneath?
They're all right, man. They play at Launchpad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them. What genre of music right now is like the big, like, you book it and you're going to get an audience?
Wait a minute, what?
Like, what genre of music right now is kind of the go-to where you're going to get an audience before COVID, like if we were not,
It just depends. There are a lot of great bands in each scene, so
yeah,
it really depends more on the act. So.
On the act.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting. So what, like, whenever you he's out there asking another question. They said Anastasia.
Yeah.
What do you expect Joe to say? Do you think he's going to be like, you think he's going to be like thumbs down? I'm sure he's going to say it all. You can't really, I'm sure he likes the people that bring a lot of people in to buy tickets and lots of drinks. That's
Anastasia's awesome.
There you go.
Who's Anastasia?
Yeah, which band is that one? So what made you decide to like go from being a musician to a promoter, or I don't know how you would describe yourself?
Well, I started promoting after I worked at UNM at the it was called the PEC, the Popular Entertainment Committee.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually volunteering there, just more as kind of a loader. Just pushing cases.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, when I was there, I was still in high school. I don't think they knew that, but I was volunteering. I would help with all the shows, and then I would find out that there were a lot of acts that wanted to come through, but they either weren't large enough for the university to book, or there wasn't a room in town.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of people trying to build the scene. Garrett Watley and Joey Abbin and Ian Parks. Those guys were booking a lot of like smaller kind of underground stuff. And
how do you feel? I have this is off the docket, I guess. How do you feel about like the local house shows? Do you feel like that's like a threat to you, or do you feel like that's a cool? I
think it's something. I mean, it's cool. It's like we need that. We definitely need that. There are a lot of bands that are more into the whole like DIY. There are a lot of bands that are kind of anti-bar scene, and I get it. I mean, when I was a kid going to shows, I was always pissed about bar shows.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I'm very surprised that there are house shows at places that can, stay open and don't get shut down.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Well, it's interesting to me because like, I was at work one day and someone was talking about the Fly Honey Warehouse, and it was on the news because it got busted, and it was like illegal venue busted, and someone was at work and they're like, "Oh, did you see this? You're in tune with a lot of things." And I was like, "Yeah, I know the people who run that." And they're like, "You do?" I was like, "Oh yeah." And they're like, "It's crazy that someone would do that." And I was like, "Well, that's like one of 8 places like that,
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah. And they were like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's just kind of interesting to me that there's this like people that live here in this city, and there's all these things that are happening that they just literally have no idea that are going on. You have like Gold House, Raptor House, Town Hall, just all kind of, and someone's over there like writing them all down. They're like, busted. I kind of look at it as like a proving ground. So, when you're first starting out as a band, you kind of got to get your like chops down, you got to get your chemistry. And then, before you start playing like, the venues. So I always look at it as that, like kind of the,
Well, but it's also a different scene. I mean, there are established bands that play house parties and prefer to play house parties.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
It's a cool vibe. And I mean, I don't have any kind of weirdness or ill will with any of that. I think it's something that we need. So.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. And that's good though. I mean, I feel like, with what you do and with that scene as well, it's one of those things where it's an odd where this, it's not competition, it's more of like, you know, helping the actual scene thrive, you know. It's bringing more attention and it helps everyone. That's how I always feel about it.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I, you know, yeah. And to get away from music, you know, we want to start asking more like Albuquerque centric questions. So one of the questions we want to ask is what number do you choose at Golden Pride?
Oh, all right. So,
it all came about like the other day. I was like, there were some people in town visiting, and we were talking about places to eat in Albuquerque, and they were like, well, we want something fast and quick that we can grab and take to someone's house. And I was like, oh, Golden Pride. And they're all, is Golden Pride good? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, everyone has their number. And I was in Sidetrack Brewing, and the bartender goes, number 8. I was like, yep. So I thought that was a good question.
Yeah, I usually get the Frontier burrito with hash browns inside.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh.
The vegetarian burrito.
Oh, dang. Are you vegetarian?
I know, but I will.
You'll partake in that?
Occasionally, yes.
Yeah.
I think 1, 3, and 8 are also, those are my backups.
Yeah, see? There you go. I always got to get a number 10 and then 2 carne burritos for later. You know, because you can stick those in the fridge and just warm them up. I just think that's a good choice. So clearly right now your industry is kind of like one of the hardest hit with the COVID virus.
Yeah.
So how hard, I mean, I say that, but I don't really know. I mean, how hard has it been?
Well, I mean, we are going on seven months being closed with nothing. And then of course I've got, you know, multiple venues and businesses that I'm just kind of dragging along. Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, it's probably like movie theaters, sports events, live music events.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just read that I think it was Cinemark Theaters. They had just announced like that the James Bond film is going to be postponed, and it might literally devastate Cinemark. Yeah. They were saying, let me see if I can pull this up. Regal's, yeah, let's see.
Regal Cinema, yeah.
Yeah. It was quite a bit of theaters shutting down. Cineworld is closing down 128 of its UK and Ireland's cinemas as well as US. So, I mean, you know, so you're talking about movie theaters. I guess that's kind of the other industry that's the same as you guys. But like, how's it been? I mean, how are you able to keep, I mean, you know, how can you pay rent? How can you pay the...
Well, we've been using savings, and we've, you know, got some loans and, you know, PPP money, and luckily we have cool, you know, landlords and people we work with who get it.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people we have to kind of, we've fought with a little bit, but I mean, it's happening to everyone. It's not like, you know, it's not like I just gave up, you know, working. So
no. Well, and I mean, you know, say the landlord or whoever kicks you out. I mean, who's gonna go rent a building that no one can be in? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the law right now on live events? It's completely, you can't be in anything right now, correct?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things happening out there, but
yeah.
As far as I think what's legal, there's not supposed to be any.
Yeah. Have you seen anything about this new bill that aimed to help music venues suffering from COVID-19?
Oh yeah, the Heroes Act.
Heroes Act.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I don't know much about it, but I mean, how far along is that? I mean, does that seem like it's going to be something that happens?
I don't know. I mean, I think that, being honest, I mean, I don't know that, you know, live music is going to be a #1 priority for the people making those decisions.
Sure.
So,
right.
I have to think of it in the big picture and figure out how to deal with it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you have a better, you know, finger on the pulse of what's going to happen here. What do you think is the future of live music? When is it going to come back? what is it going to look like?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same as everything else. A vaccine and a vaccine that people trust and will take. And I mean, as far as COVID-19 goes, that's what it's going to take to get bands back on the road. I mean, you're thinking there's so many things like that a lot of people don't think about. Putting a full band on a single bus,
Right?
Also, bus loads of crew people on a bus. I mean, full crew on one single bus.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, it's people can't spend money on advertisement to put the band out, and then some, one person on the bus gets COVID, and they have to put the whole tour down, and there's all that lost revenue right there.
Oh, sure. I mean, just look at the NFL right now. Cam Newton from the New England Patriots got it, and then a number of the players got it. So now they've postponed that game completely from today to a different day. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's got to be millions of dollars.
Oh, easy.
Just to move it. It's like, so, but I mean, they can take the hit. The NFLs, can take the hit.
Mm-hmm.
Music venue owner who, each show helps pay the bills. That's a difficult thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of venues across the country that are already shut down or shutting down.
Oh yeah. So I mean, what do you think the soonest we can maybe think about seeing live music?
I would say if we're lucky, touring acts. I would say spring, maybe late spring, if we're lucky.
Okay, because I still got those Rage Against the Machine tickets for June. So
I don't have anything to do with that.
I know, but I still want to go.
Yeah, their age are kicking things down to Q3 and Q4. So I mean, that's fall and winter.
Yeah. Are there bands out there still throwing out bookings just to kind of test the water at all?
There are plenty of holds out there, but I mean, everyone's just you can hold the day, you can confirm the day, but no one is really comfortable starting advertisement or announcements.
Once like everything is clear and everything's good, how healthy do you think it the live music scene will be?
Well, I think there'll be a point where it will come back, but I mean, the first thing is going to be the whole health aspect, right? And people feeling safe going out to shows again. Then there's also going to be this, economic situation that has to be dealt with. I mean, we could see things pop up right away, but I also think there are some economic impacts that we haven't even thought of yet.
Sure. I think it'll be pretty healthy. Like once they say, hey, everybody's gotten the vaccine, we're all good to go. I think it'll be really healthy because I think people are frothing at the mouth to get. I went to so they have a drive-in movie theater at Balloon Fiesta Park, and I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to go. And it was Fast and the Furious, the first movie. It's not like that movie hasn't, been out for a long time, and you can't just rent it for $3.99 on Amazon. And it was packed. People were tailgating. It was nuts. So I kind of feel like once there's like you can go in and watch bands and stuff play again, I think people, those people who took it for granted aren't going to take it for so much, anymore. They're going to be like, oh man, I'm hoping. I think that's what it's going to be like. Ooh, that was loud. Somebody's phone went off.
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm hoping that, and I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you're like, I'm hoping that too. Can you guys? I mean, do you think the industry can hold on until that time? Especially, I mean, locally, not so much the full industry. You can't really talk about that.
I think some will and some won't. I mean, I feel like some people have already kind of moved on to other things.
Yeah.
A lot of the agencies have splintered, have split up, and so yeah, there are people who were, part of the, large booking agencies, last year who are now booking from their homes again with a new project or just going out on their own. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at the First Friday art show Friday, and there was a live band on the top of Launchpad.
Yeah,
What's that all about?
Slums of Harvard got up there. We did not set it up,
Wow.
but
Yeah,
we gotta give them credit for that.
yeah.
It's something different.
First Friday was packed. It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Downtown on Central on Friday at like 7:00. And Albuquerque's not for people who are listening that aren't from this city, we're not a people that goes downtown 7:00 on a Friday.
No.
It's more like 10:00 on a Friday.
That's so early for downtown.
Yeah. Like there was light outside and people were drunk and acting crazy. I was like, this is weird. This is odd. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of hope. I'm hoping that, I mean, how do you feel about, so they're talking about doing like concerts and stuff at these drive-in movie theaters. I mean, do you think that's something that can happen for a little while, or is it, a good idea?
Yeah. Well, the first question to ask is it, are costs going to be covered?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You can brainstorm all day about, hey, this would be cool or whatever, but
right.
At the end, you have to look and see, are we going to be doing all this work and then just incurring more loss?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that some of these work and some were tested, and people are kind of walking away from it because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, you have to try it to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's some out there that are making money and are successful and are continuing. Right. But
well, yeah, because like if you do a show at a drive-in, I mean, you're pretty much going to be charging a ticket for the car.
Yes.
So I mean, depending on like how big the band is, how much are you going to charge the car? I mean, and then you've got to make it to where the customer looks at it and they understand what you're charging. I mean, because if you charge $80 a car to go see a band, I mean, that's really technically, if you have 4 or 5 seats, you could have 4 or 5 people in the car watching this concert, or 2 people, or
Well, considering scaling is, it's the same as it was with a regular concert. You have to, you're going to be able to get someone to pay whatever $150, $250 a car.
Yeah.
Show. Are people going to be that excited about what you're presenting? And once again, go back to what is the act? What is the attraction?
Sure. And then you're also, as a promoter or venue, you don't have that alcohol aspect where you can sell alcohol, because clearly people are probably going to bring their own.
Right.
And yeah, like because whenever I went to that movie, I mean, there was people tailgating, and they didn't have they had a, I don't know if they really called it concession. They had an area for food trucks, which was interesting, but it was kind of cool. But then, once like for me, I feel like the drive-in movie thing is going to be kind of a novelty once everything goes back to normal as well. Because like you have that large drive-in theater lot, and if you instead put one building with 20 theaters in that one lot, you would make so much more money, and that's why they all died out in the first place.
Right.
But so it's I know that Santa Fe, they did some sort of drive-in movie theater, and they've been having bands up there, but I haven't seen anything here yet. So I just wondered, I figure you're kind of in tune with what's going on in that aspect, and I didn't know if that was a thing people were going to try to do here or not. But if it's not,
Amp Concerts has been doing those in Santa Fe, and they've had some that have been successful and some not so successful. Those guys are excited about keeping things going. Yeah. They want to provide entertainment and keep doing things.
Right.
Keep people excited about live music.
That's a tough thing to do. I mean, And then I guess I want to also talk about, like, you know, if people out there don't know, the Launchpad has a YouTube channel, and some of the guys who work for Joe, Barney Lopez especially, they've been having local bands come in and they record them, and they take the music and they use Pro Tools and they clean it up and they cut the video, and they've been posting them on the Launchpad YouTube page, so you can watch like the best thing next to being there is watching these bands on the Launchpad YouTube channel. And I've watched a couple really amazing. It's because, like, it's frustrating to me that a lot of musicians I know, they grab their cell phone and they put it on a little mount and they turn it on live and they start playing, and it sounds awful. And the cell phone's not built for it. It's not built to, the microphone on the cell phone is not built to take guitar and singing and all that. And so it's really awesome to see that you guys have done that. And there's a GoFundMe page that helps pay for it all. So, people need to, be aware that is happening. So if it's Friday night and you want to, and I think they're on Friday nights, I believe. That's like when they're launching them, right?
It depends, but Barney, Chris, and Andrew have been working on this a lot. At first, we were hesitant to do them because we were afraid we're gonna end up in the red. But we've been able to sort it out kind of to where we're not losing anything. It's not like we're making a ton, but we're able to get everybody paid and get those guys paid for their time, because they're doing the filming. And then, of course, Andrew does the recording, and then they spend time doing all the editing for them, and then they'll stream them. So it's pretty cool. They've come out great.
Yeah, let me see if
they sound amazing.
Yeah,
they've been doing a lot of work on it. So
let's see if I can pull this up here. I want to put that in the chat here, the little link. I don't know if people can click on that, but they can save it. But yeah, I feel like that's, doing the best you can with what you have. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job with that. Tell Joe I say what's up. Russell James.
Hi, Russell James.
Says hello. So I think, so kudos to you guys for doing that. I mean, like you said, it was a gamble where you might lose money. Because, I mean, GoFundMe, it's like one of those things where it's like, you ask for it too much and people are like, but it seems to be working out and I like it. And I hope you guys keep doing it. And, the more, I guess you guys are going to do Night of the Living cover bands from what I understand.
Yeah, we're already scheduling all those recordings for this month. And we're going to stream them all on the 30th.
So if there wouldn't have been COVID, how many Night of the Living cover bands would there have been this year?
We would have probably just done the 6. I mean, the thing is that they're so much fun, and they're always packed.
I swear every year there's like 2 more added. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I love them. That's my favorite time of the year.
It's the best week of the year. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Week? Month, you mean?
Yeah, we got the full month.
Yeah. It's always like,
you know what I mean. There's
always, when I always go to Night of the Living cover bands, there's always some band that I had never heard of that gets booked, and they do the part, and then you're just like, holy shit, who the hell is this? Yeah. Like they'll be David Bowie or whoever, and you're just like, whoa, it just blows your mind out. So I'm glad to see you guys are still, you're gonna do something, and I think that's good news for everybody.
Yeah, we're just doing one night. I think just 10 bands this year. I think last year we did almost 70 bands.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or 60 something, 67, something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
that is really awesome.
Cool.
So I have a question. This question is for actually everybody. What is the best concert you've ever seen? I have, without a doubt, number one in my mind. And it's a show that Joe brought here. Can you guess? Anybody guess who it is?
There's so many, man. That's not an easy thing to
Mine
guess.
is at the Civic Center, Neutral Milk Hotel. I love that show. You brought that here, right, Joe?
Yeah, I had them in. I did that actually with AMP concerts.
Oh man,
we co-promoted that, but I worked with those guys at the Dingo Bar too, and there was like 70 people there.
Neutral Milk Hotel played the Dingo Bar back in the day.
Yeah, we did some cool stuff.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh. Uh-oh, here we go. Russell says the Lemon Heads. That was at Launchpad for my birthday.
Yeah.
That's a great show. They did It's a Shame About Ray in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Smiley, what's your favorite concert of all time?
Oh, all time or just the Joe Anderson production?
No, all time that you've ever been to. This is all time you ever been to. Mine was just that. Mine just so happened to be, I saw Neutral Milk Hotel. I literally was weeping during the show, and then a week later, I saw the Dandy Warhols, and I was just like, no. Sorry, guys. Would have been great if I wouldn't have saw that other band a week ago.
I think it was at a sports center in San Diego. I was watching Dinosaur Jr.
Oh, nice.
And the property owners were worried about it, so they put a cage in front of them.
like Blues Brothers style?
Yeah. There's a cage, and like, why is there a cage between us and
so you could throw beer bottles at them?
Dinosaur Jr.? Well, no, it was like a youth activities space, so we couldn't bring beer in.
Well,
it was really weird, but
you didn't try, is what you're saying.
But because of its hilariousness, I really had a good time.
Yeah. Holly, what's your favorite concert you've been to?
That's such a hard question. I don't think I've ever been to a bad concert, and I will say that right now.
Oh, I have.
No,
I have.
well, here's the thing. There's always good memories to be had, whether it's a good story because the band sucked or you were there with cool people. Oh my God. So hard to choose. I really enjoyed Bob Dylan, and I think that was just because I was in the presence of a hero. That was a good one. And you know what? I really enjoyed, oh my God, why am I spacing their name? They're like my favorite band in the whole, Band of Horses last year.
Yeah.
Band of Horses was amazing.
That was a great show.
But I mean, I don't know.
That was a great show, except
I've been
for
to so many good concerts, though.
So the band fucked up and said it was their first time
that.
ever playing in Albuquerque, which it was not.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in front of me who were wasted would not let it go. They brought it up on their cell phone and were like trying to show the band. And they were up by the bar area, and they're all, "See, you were here before," and they were waving the phone like the band could hear or see them. Yeah. So I finally moved, and that made the concert so much better. What about you, Joe?
I have a bunch.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to hear them all.
Okay, I saw Ween at this tiny club called the Cannibal Club in Austin.
Oh. Was this before or after they did the country album?
It was before.
Okay.
It was I think it was the Pod tour.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. There's probably, I don't know, a couple hundred people there. That was when they just had the DAT player and the brothers playing.
Just made Corey Menifee like orgasm because like he loves Ween.
Yeah, I know that. And I saw Jane's Addiction at the El Rey.
Oh,
Nothing shocking. Ooh. That was the first show I used a fake ID to get into.
Hold on, let me just call the police real quick. Just kidding. Jane's Addiction, that's great.
Yeah,
I would love to. Are they still? Are they together? Or is that band? Blown up?
Knowledge.
Yeah, it's hard to know right now. I wonder if this, the COVID will get bands back together. I'm hoping.
Maybe.
So you had Jane's Addiction, you have Ween. What else?
Let's see. The last, the second to the last DJ Shadow tour.
Okay.
He does that Shadowsphere thing. which is just amazing. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's just a ton of projectors.
No.
And, yeah, it's amazing. I'm a big DJ Shadow fan.
Were you at that show, Portugal the Man? When they did, you guys had it at Sunshine. Did you see any of that?
I didn't see much of that. I was at the show, but I didn't see much of the show.
So I didn't know who they were, and I had a friend that had an extra ticket, and he was like, "You want to go?" And I was like, sometimes
so
you don't have
good.
shit going on, you go. And they did this thing where the show was like this big video screen they had behind them, and it was like almost the size of the whole backstage, and the band was just a silhouette. You couldn't see them, and I thought the singer was a woman, and they never showed them. And then they kept whenever someone would talk, it was like the bass player, and they would do like a what do they call that? Where you spotlight on just him. And so till the end, like when they showed the whole band, I had no idea that it wasn't a woman. No clue, because you couldn't see the band at all. It was really interesting. I found that to be like a awesome way to go see a band for the first time. But anyway, sorry, you were talking about DJ Shadow. That just reminded me of that show. And who else did you have?
There's a bunch more. I won't bore you guys.
You won't bore it. Well, taking off your promoter hat, but like, what as a promoter, what was the band you were shocked you were able to book? Like you were just like, you're a promoter and you're booking this band, and you're trying to act professional, but then you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe I got these guys.
Well, you know what? Kind of when I just started out, my friend Dan was booking a bunch of shows, like punk rock shows in Colorado, and he basically came to me and said, "Hey, we have a chance to do this this Johnny Cash show." And so we co-promoted Johnny Cash at Pope Joy.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
and that was pretty amazing.
Did you get to meet Johnny Cash?
Oh yeah.
How was he?
At that point, it was that was kind of right when he was ending his touring. I think he actually had to cancel some of the tour dates because he was just in bad shape at that point.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I was talking recently. So I watched the Beastie Boys documentary on Apple TV. And if folks out there, if you're you love the Beastie Boys and you have not seen that documentary, it is amazing. Anyway, they talk about Rick Rubin in there, and I was watching it with someone who had no idea who Rick Rubin was, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, go through and look at that guy's like discography of albums he's done, and one of the big things that he did was he kind of revived Johnny Cash's career.
Yeah,
he brought him back because they had like fired him from his contract. They said he wasn't relevant anymore. Rick Rubin stripped off all the production and just did raw Johnny Cash, which was amazing. And that's probably what you got to see was that tour. That's amazing, man. That I did not expect you to come out with something like that. I was like, whoa. I thought it was gonna be more of a punk or like indie rock kind of thing, and that's a big one. At what point did you like stop being like excited? Because at some point it becomes a job to you, right? And
it's unfortunate. Like you had asked me about the whole Portugal the Man thing. Like a lot of times I don't get to see a lot of the show because I'm doing, settlement or dealing with the situation. So I try to pop in and see, at least 2 or 3 songs from each act. But a lot of times I won't get to see any of the show at all.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but
yeah.
That's
well, I mean, and then I mean, have you ever had that situation where you were like super excited there was a band and you were super excited and then they came in and they were kind of dickheads and you're just like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be dickheads.
Yeah, there's been a few bands like that. I don't know if I can say.
Say who it is. I mean,
yeah, it's unfortunate when you book your a hero and they come in and just dash that,
Well, for example, like the Dropkick Murphys, I've seen them a lot of times, and they came in and played a show there, and it was so weird because, like, people in Albuquerque don't go to shows early, and we showed up at 9:30 and they were already playing. And I guess what had happened was the bass player or the guitar player was flying out early, so they decided to go on early. Well, then after the show, the rest of the band went over to Blackbird and proceeded to say filthy, horrible things to the waitresses, and they got thrown out. And I heard about it, and after that, I was like, you know what? Fuck those guys. You know? So it's kind of stuff like that. You know, you're like, ugh. So I'm assuming that that's probably happened to you a number of times, and you know, it probably, you know, you probably loses the luster of the fame and all that.
Yeah, totally. Like you know, you get an act that you love, and then they come in and they're, you know, difficult the whole day and shitty to your staff. You know, it's like, I don't have to stick around for this. So.
Brandon is telling his best concert, I think. Oh wow, that would have been amazing. Weezer, Chicago, 2011, 2 nights in a row. First night, Blue Album. Second night, Pinkerton in their entirety. That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I do like when bands do like they're like, you know, we're gonna go back on tour and we're gonna do this famous album every track. You know, I do love that.
Mm-hmm.
So who does Joe
That's
the
amazing.
fan like? When do you decide to take a night off and go watch a band? I mean, is that a thing to you anymore, or are you just too much into it? You're just like, eh.
No, I mean, we do a lot of shows. So, you know, there's some nights where we'll have, you know, 3, maybe 4 things going on a night. So, yeah, occasionally I'll go see something. Like I went and saw, you know, X when they played at up at the bridge.
Santa Fe at Santa Fe at the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was able to I wasn't involved in the show. With the show at all, I just was able to have a couple beers and watch the show. It's pretty cool.
You get antsy. You're like, oh shit, who's watching the door?
Oh yeah.
Where's the security guys?
Putting beer, you know, picking up trash off of the.
They're like that customer's real nice. He cleaned up all the beer cans. What a nice guy.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So what is the craziest thing you've seen on a band's rider? You don't have to name the band, but what's the craziest rider you've seen?
You know, riders, they're kind of toned down now. I think. I mean, it used to be, it was all kinds of drugs at one point, but you have budgets that you have to adhere to now. So a lot of stuff, you know, you get the important stuff, and you know, things you can't afford gets struck. Cottonmouth Kings used to try to make us buy them clothes. So they would put
clothes?
Yeah, socks and underwear and t-shirts. Right? I mean,
wow.
We all need new socks.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're out on a tour, you know, your socks, you know, I can see your socks dwindling, you know, your underwear being stolen, maybe.
Yeah, why send the runner to the laundry just but yeah.
Can you talk about the runner thing? Because I didn't know about this until a couple of years ago.
So if you do a show, like bigger shows, you have to have a runner or maybe several runners, depending on the size of the show and the budgets involved. But basically, there's just someone there who takes care of the band all day. They're dealing with taking the band to the hotel, take a shower, taking the band to the mall to go look for whatever DVDs or whatever, and then they're dropping off the laundry for the tour. They're picking up the food for the tour. They're doing the shopping. So
that's interesting to me. And sometimes it's you got to feel like it's probably a job that the person's probably like, yes, I'll do that. And then by the end of the day, they're probably like, oh.
I mean, a lot of times they get to hang out with the band members, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I got to do some security back in the day for a couple bands, and it was funny because like they had runners. I guess they had runners. I didn't know that's what they were. And this is in Portales, New Mexico. And one of the bands, I think it was Blessed Union of Souls, if you can remember that band. Mm-hmm. They wanted to go to Fort Sumner to see the Billy the Kid grave, which was like, you know, a couple hours away. It's kind of crazy, but it's like, do people have, you know, stuff like that where they're like, I want to go see this thing that's around here. Or we want to go to Roswell for the day, or.
Oh yeah. Well, for a while, everyone wanted to go see Walter White's house.
Oh wow. Okay.
All the bands would finish their sound checks, and then they'd have the runner take them to see Walter White's house. So
That's pretty funny.
yeah,
I think that's pretty hilarious. So, one of the last things I want to say. So, when you were playing music here, what has changed? How has the scene changed since you played to now? What's the big differences?
Well, I feel like there's more mainstream support for live music now. I think before it was more underground.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the venues are kind of set up accordingly.
Yeah.
The venues are more friendly to having a live music area. Like they'll actually have real stages or real PAs and that kind of thing. Like for a long time. I mean, there's still a situation that will pop up now where you'll be like, oh yeah, you guys go over there in that corner and play. You guys set up over there and we'll move the tables and make space for you guys. So more venues are putting more thought into being more accommodating for the live music act. So
do you, and this is a question I just thought of, do you think, from what I understand, music as a promoter, you're trying to make the most money you can off a show. Like you may or may not like the band, but if they make money, you're probably going to bring them in, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I book a lot of bands I don't really care for, but I mean,
So for age demographic wise, like you're saying it's changed a lot because, now it's, people are, more accepting of, do you feel like that's because people that are our age grew up with it and, we're just used to it? Cause like, I feel like I've heard this thing where everybody's like, oh, why at Isleta Amphitheater do they always have like the Scorpions or, Poison or blah, blah, blah. And someone's like, cause that's the age demographic that has the money to buy tickets. So do you feel that that's a thing as well? Like, if you have shows with like older bands that are, that had their heyday, maybe in the 80s, 90s, that that's kind of an easy ticket sale. Cause, people our generation are like, I want to go see that. Do you feel that's the case?
I mean, not necessarily, but people have to think that the calendar has to be filled. Yeah. People that complain, oh, why did you book these guys? I mean, what difference is it to you? Like, just don't go.
Yeah.
If you don't like these guys.
Yeah, I don't get that shit either.
Yeah. Don't go to the shows that you want to see. We still have to fill these other days. We can't just close and say, fuck that band. We're not going to book those guys.
Well, I saw Ice Cube the year before last, and he was at Highlands University in Las Vegas, and people are like, why is he there? And I mean, it's a pretty like, I know because at my college, I knew people who were on that, the people who booked, and what they do is they go out and they look who's touring and who's going to be in like Colorado or Arizona or Texas. And then they try to book the day before or the day after. So they can, because those bands will want to catch they want to catch a show and make some money, traveling through. And so that always trips me out when the people are like, they're like, oh, hell yeah, these people are coming to town. Why is it a Wednesday? And it's like, we live in Albuquerque. We're not Denver. We're not Phoenix. We're not Dallas,
That's something that drives us crazy too. I mean, bands can't afford to go on tour and only play Fridays or Saturday nights.
Right.
Yeah. Play, say, what the fuck, Sunshine? Why on a Tuesday?
Yeah, because that's when they were coming through.
We're lucky to get the act at all,
Yeah.
Right. So if you can't make it on Tuesday, then sorry,
Yeah.
Then it must not be that important to you if you're not going to go on a Tuesday.
Well, then it's always frustrating to me where if it's like a band that's playing at Sunshine or whatever, if it's over $20, people just like shit the bed about it. They're like, 20, they're like $35, and it's like, yeah, they've got to pay these people and they've got to pay their crew, and it's just Albuquerque's a real weird city for like how cheap we are.
Well, that's the thing is one minute they'll complain that their favorite act isn't coming to town. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Why didn't you guys get the date?
Mhm.
And then, and then the next minute they're like, hey, this is my favorite fucking band, but Jesus, I'm not going to pay $25 to see them.
Right.
So it's like, but
Well, shit though, like going back to the Rage Against the Machine, when those tickets launched, it was Rage Against the Machine with Run the Jewels.
mm-hmm.
Both of those bands are headlining bands.
Yeah.
And they're $120 for a ticket. And people went, I mean, they sold out, but people were like, I can't believe that's what they cost. And I'm like, their tour's not that big. It's like 5 or 6 shows. They've got to pay Run the Jewels. They've got to pay themselves. They've got to pay all of the crew. That's not cheap anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and it sold out, so it was priced right. It might have been underpriced.
Sure. Yeah. And like, but the big
people complain about $5, honestly.
Oh, they do.
Who does?
Everybody.
Lots of people.
I get asked if I can comp a $5 ticket all the time.
I was about to say, like, people will be like, $5. Can I get on the list with you? Well, Joe, we've come down to the end of the first hour. You don't have to stay for the second hour if you don't want to. This is just our goof around hour where we just, act like fools. But do you have anything you'd like to promote for, anything upcoming that you guys have that people might want to know about?
Just, if you guys are into the whole Night of the Living cover band thing, we're working hard. I have to shout out to Barney, Chris, and Andrew for all the hard work. And
go subscribe to the Launchpad's YouTube channel. Because I saw Barney the other day. Because like, if you don't have 100 subscribers, you can't choose what the URL is, and he threw that out there, and you guys got 200 subscribers quickly. Or I'm sorry, 100 quickly.
We're just trying to collect a bunch of stuff, have some archives.
And I mean, if you guys get enough subscribers and you get enough watches, you can, that's another revenue stream that they could have. We need to save live music. Live music is something that is important. And if you don't think it's important, for your neighbor, it is. For, other people, it is. It's art. It's, it's what we need. And,
need right now.
Help push the Heroes Act.
Yeah, Heroes.
Help support that. Call your, senators. Let's get live venues. If they die out, it's not going to be good. And we don't want, who is it? Ticketmaster trying to buy up all the venues? No. Is that who's trying to buy them up?
There's some companies out there that.
Yeah. I'll say it. I think it's Ticketmaster. I don't know. Somebody's out there. Big corporations are trying to like take advantage of this and buy up venues. And that's the last thing on this planet that we need. We need the local. We need local. Holly, what do you got to promote? Holly Ann?
Oh, actually, for the first time in 7 months now, I actually have something to promote every week. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I will be in Greeley, Colorado, November 20th with Kurt Fletcher and Don Morgan. So that should be a great show. So if you're in Greeley, Colorado, please come out.
Nice. James Smiley?
As per usual, you can look for me on first and second season of Midnight Texas, streaming on NBC and Hulu. If you want to have fun, you can look back and see me on Netflix on Daybreak. I play a high schooler. It's really fun. Nice.
I am part of a group now called the Burlesque Podcasters Guild. Actually, this show is. And we are launching our studio it's going to be at the B. Rupee building in Burlesque, New Mexico. We are launching November 6th. That will be our launch party. I don't know the specifics on that, but that's coming. Other podcasts that are in this group are True Consequences, which is a New Mexico-based true crime podcast. Parenting versus Podcast, which is just what you'd think it is. It's a couple parents and they podcast. What's Up ABQ, and they tell all about things they interview people around Albuquerque and business owners and whatnot. And then there's Dos Pequeños, which is a New Mexico-based ghost oriented podcast. So check all those out as well as ours. We do our show here live on Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. And we're going to try to get more guests like Joe on. Joe, I want to thank you for being on the show. Did you want to stick around for the second hour, or are you just gonna head out?
I have to finish my laundry.
I understand that. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. It's been an honor. I hope this was good for you. It's been 5 years trying to get you on here, and I think it was a really great experience. And you answered a lot of the questions that I had. So thank you for being on the show.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
No problem. And then for people, add us on social media. We have all of them. Go to 10drinkminimum.com, all that stuff. And with that, definitely drink when I do the show. You should as well. Always remember, never get too drunk to jerk. 10drinkminimum.com.
Fingers looking at the light switch, just there was a lot going wrong. It's cost me a bar on the way to some place you are. As you lay your hand just where it falls, leave the light switch on. As cars speed by, on the way to some place switch on. Light switch off, light switch off, wait for something, light switch off. Light switch off, light switch off, wait for something, light switch off. To find thieves I'm never supposed to see, try to resist desires inherent to forgiveness. You find yourself giving in, trying to resist. Try to switch off, light switch off, light switch off, light switch off. Try to switch off, light switch off, light switch off, light switch off. Try to switch off, light switch off, light switch off. Boys feel right at home, throw some coffee on the stove. Wash your hands on the face, boy, you can't say grace with a mouth full of smoke. Lord, he knows I'm cheating. Everybody gets down, so potatoes, I think that I'm coming around. See, that feels like a stupid thing, don't kill me so. Waiting for too long, Lord, please, please, please say you'll come and forgive me for what I've done. But I can't clean up now, throw some water on me. Wash your hands on your face, boy, you can't say grace when your mind full of good. Lord knows he knows I'm cheating. Everybody is down with my finger on the trigger. I'll come around the sea, that's sin like a demon. Spring will kill my soul. Waiting for too long, Lord, please, please, please say you'll come and forgive me for what I've done. Across these fields, the home, these shoes grow old, old, kind of these hills now for so long. Lord he knows I'm cheating and sin, but hands with the body of the hill. I come around, see that taking all my rage to kill my silver soul. Show me the birds you live by, to stand for. I'm gonna turn around and repent, and soon we're gonna cry about how Jesus I'm a friend. And soon we're gonna cry about how I am. Show me the bird you live by, to stand for. I'm gonna turn around and repent, and soon we're gonna cry about how Jesus I'm a friend. And soon we're gonna cry about how I am. Allow you to pass between the walls that I built around myself, and accomplishment beyond the wall. Yet it goes unnoticed. Line up your toes and mine, and you'll see the stars come together. And the world feel a touch brighter. And if for a moment miss you come January, when there's no one but myself to warm my thoughts and half truths. Line up your toes and mine to see the stars come together. sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum.
Oh, yeah. Back from the break. It is the Billy Hour. You're watching 10 Drink Minimum. It is the last party of the weekend. And we're here. Let me bring in Smiley and Holly Ann. Oh, Holly Ann, you're muted. I can't unmute you, I think. Mic isn't connected, it says for Holly.
Oh, I figured it out.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you guys are sitting in the dark, man. What's going on out there?
I don't know. The sun went down.
You can't use natural light. You got to use artificial light.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm using.
Huh?
I'm now using artificial light.
Actually, James looks like he looks like he's taking some sort of glamour shots. I don't know. Yeah? What are you using for lighting? There?
I am using two drafting lamps.
What are you
actually,
using,
with
Holly?
different wattage of bulbs?
I'm using a little ring light.
Okay. I was wondering.
So,
I was like, should we get you a ring light?
Yeah.
But I have two different lights.
It has different settings, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So
for everyone out there in the world that's wondering how you do video and live stream, lighting is everything.
it is.
It is everything. Yeah,
light.
GoPro cameras doesn't hurt, but you know, the fanciness.
Well, and I also
yeah, go ahead.
I also got. Oh, sorry. I also got like a new device that I'm using, and so that's been an adjustment today.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the using it?
I like it a lot better because I'm able to use my earbuds. Yeah.
Okay.
I think once I figure it out a little bit more, it'll be better. So hopefully next week will go more smoothly.
Yeah. I think it didn't go out during the show. It went out prior to the show, but it didn't go out during the show.
Yeah, well, and the problem wasn't with the device. My Wi-Fi literally went out for our whole house. Yay!
Fucking internet, man.
I know.
Son of a bitch. For you guys just tuning in, this is the Billy Hour, the Wavy Hour. This is where we just fucking have fun. This is good times. We chit chat about whatever we want to. And if you want to ask us questions, feel free. We don't care. You just missed Joe Anderson. It was weird because I didn't want to. I've been working with Joe all week to try to promote this. And it's like walking. It's like trying to jog through a sandy beach.
Oh,
you know? Love Joe, but I'm like, so what would you like to be called? You know, what would you like your title to be? And then he writes back, that's a good question. You're like, okay. Music promoter? Leader of the Joe Anderson Empire? You know? And I love him, but he's not the most social guy, which is, you know, and that's fine. That's totally fine. And he's, for me, he's always been this enigma. And I should have brought this up, but I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. But I always like whenever we hang out with a lot of musicians. Yeah. And you'd always hear his name, Joe Anderson, like, oh, well, you know, Joe, you got to talk to Joe, So I had in my mind of what I thought Joe Anderson looked like. And what I thought was like a short, like stout guy who wears a suit all the time, you know, balding, kind of sleazy, because he's a music promoter. I always thought, like, you know, you think of the movies. And then I meet him for the first time, and he's like tall, cargo shorts, t-shirt, baseball cap. That's like Joe's uniform, you know? and totally the opposite. Like Beard. Yeah, they're like kind of Steve.
Have I ever told you guys the story of my first meeting of Joe Anderson?
No, you should have told him. Unless it would freak him out.
I got nervous. But about 11 years ago, I worked at Sunshine Theater.
Oh, okay.
And I worked at the snack thing, right?
Yeah.
And
like where you put your coat at kind of in the opening?
Yeah. And I didn't work there for long because I got another job opportunity. But my first event, my manager said, people are going to ask you for energy drinks and all this stuff. Don't give it to them unless, you've talked to me first.
Okay.
So there was a guy who was
for free?
Yeah. Like he was saying there are people that'll try to come and get stuff for free from you, blah, blah, blah. So there was a guy who was sweeping in the lobby, and he came up and asked me for something. I don't remember what it was now. And I said, well, you're going to have to ask Sam because I don't know who you are.
It was Joe.
And Sam walked up to me and he was like, hey, do you know who that is? And I said, no, I don't. And he said, that's Joe Anderson. And the next time he asks for something, he can have anything he wants. He owns this. And I was so embarrassed.
You did
and
I bet Joe
and I went up to him. Oh yeah, I went up to him. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so embarrassed. He said, no, you're doing your job. You didn't know who I was. It's fine. But so clearly Joe was not at all what I thought he looked like either.
No. And that's the crazy thing about Joe. It's like, he's this guy. I mean, he, in order not to cause I knew he was going to be nervous. So I didn't want to try to make it worse. So for people who are out there who listen to the first hour, and I'm going to break it apart. I'm going to make this actually 2 episodes. I'm going to break it apart because I feel like that's a standalone episode. And there's going to be a lot of people who want to listen to that episode. So a lot of people don't know this. Joe runs the Sunshine Theater, the Moonlight Lounge, Bar Uno, Launchpad, Inside Out, the El Rey Theater, the El Rey Liquor Store, and Founders Speakeasy. Now, he doesn't run all of those by himself. Like Inside Out, Founders, El Rey, he has partners. But he has his hand in those.
Yeah.
So downtown, the only music venue that he does not have his hand in is Sister Bar. Like he's the man when it comes to downtown. He books it all. And
he is the nicest person.
To me, I've never had bad, I've never had anything bad. I'll never say anything bad about him. And I've seen Joe like the first time. So I met him and I've known him for a little bit. And then he used to have a venue called Low Spirits, and it was like north on 2nd Street past I-40 over by my favorite Whataburger. And one time I drank, what's that, James?
I said the good Whataburger.
The good Whataburger, straight up. Went there today. So anyway, I went to Low Spirits one night and I got drunk and someone gave me a ride home. And so then I got a ride the next day back to get my car, which was like 9 or 10 in the morning. So I go to pick up my car and there's Joe pulling weeds in the parking lot and cleaning up, doing the, and to me, it's like, wow, the guy who's like the owner is out here doing this. And then someone was like, yeah, because he's too cheap to pay someone. And I'm like, yeah, because like he has a family to feed and he has bills to, people to pay, and it always astounds me how quick people are to jump on someone and be like, oh, that guy's just cheap. No, maybe they don't want to pay that because they don't have it, or they have the time and they're like, you know what, this is something I own and I'm proud of it. I want to actually take the time to do it. I've seen him mopping floors. I've seen him sweeping floors.
Yeah.
I've seen him tending bar. He jumps in and helps. And for me, whenever I worked at places, if the
Mhm.
owner jumped in and helped,
And I'll tell you, after years of working, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go for it. After years of working, what? Holly?
Oh, I was just saying you'd be hard pressed to find a bar owner
Yeah.
that would do. Oh,
Anything.
hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. Oh, she's dropped out.
Oh.
We lost
All
her.
right.
I don't know. Technical difficulties here at the 10 Drink Minimum studios. Not in the studio
All right.
with our remotes. But I mean, you've been around a long time, James. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Joe do stuff like that.
Are you kidding? He helped us out with our booking when me and my brother opened up our venue in Nob Hill.
Tell people about that. You had a bar in Nob Hill, Harlow's on the Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother opened it up. I was a backer.
Mm-hmm.
We worked as management down there, and because what we wanted was to have, a little bit of downtown up here.
Yeah.
And
those are bold
so,
dreams.
Like we learned a lot of stuff from the Alibi.
Yeah.
On booking and advertisement, and then we got in contact with Joe Anderson, who we knew from on the scene.
Yeah.
And he let us know we want to book some shows, and he was a person to go through. Basically, he's like.
Did he help you book them? Because I mean, that kind of took him. That was pretty much competition for him.
Well, no, he let us know what shows he didn't have spaces for.
That's great.
Because there's a lot. We had a lot of local bands that just wanted a place to play, and he's like, "Well, I don't have any place for them."
Huh.
Are
you there, Holly? Are you back?
I am back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you before. Every time we can hear you, you just can't hear us. It's weird.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. Okay, sorry guys.
That's okay. But James is talking about how he had Harlow's on the Hill, and Joe actually would give them bookings for bands he didn't have rooms for.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We'd be like, well, we have a friend who wants to do a show here, but we need openers. It's is there someone that asked you that don't have space for? Who, if we gave him a call, would be totally grateful. And he'd give us a list. It's here's some newer bands I just don't have a place for.
Wow. I think we touched on this in the first hour of the Joe Anderson interview. I really think that once everything is full throttle back, I think the music scene is actually going to be stronger than ever because people are just going to be wanting to go out, and a band's playing. I
hope so.
Sweet. I think it is. I mean, I can't imagine everything. Okay. Everything that we're looking at right now, people are going crazy to go out right now. If there's an event and it's allowed, people are there quickly. They're selling out shit quickly.
You got to buy those drive-in theater tickets early.
Yeah. I don't know. That to me, we were talking about this, Holly, drive-in theater comedy shows. And you think it's a good idea, right? You think I think it's the best idea right now for comedy. Can you hear us?
I think it's.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on them right now.
Yeah.
I think if people stay in their cars, I think it's a great idea. But I've also been seeing stand-up comedians, large touring stand-up comedians, are now performing tours at drive-in theaters, and that's kind of cool.
I saw Jim Gaffigan. Totally is one of them.
And Whitney Cummings is doing it.
Oh, really? Because Jim Gaffigan's kind of perfect for it. He's kind of the poster child, I think, because his audience, I feel is people in their late 30s to 50. And those people have money and to sit in a car and not have to stand up the whole time,
right?
Because that's a thing. I mean, that's a weird thing that's starting to happen. It's I'm 45, and if I see a show and it's in a theater, I'm like, ooh, there's a chair.
Right.
I'm excited about it. I mean, I'll put my Chucks on with the special, James inspired inserts in, and I'll go stand at a live show for a while. But I mean, it's a tough deal after a bit when you're older,
And if you think about it, like stand-up comedy, like you're not dancing around.
No.
So you would just be standing there. I don't know, but
it's still tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Whitney Cummings actually posted a story yesterday that made me feel so much better because I'm about to do my first show. By the time I do the show in Greeley, I will have not done comedy in 9 months. And I am shitting a chicken about it.
Yeah.
And to see Whitney Cummings, who, she's had a number of Netflix specials, a number of HBO specials, and she literally
a TV show.
Yeah, and she literally posted that she was freaking out, and she was like, "Oh, so I'm supposed to just stand in front of hundreds of people and talk? What a scary career I have chosen." So that felt good because I'm already nervous for a month from now. So,
yeah. And it's interesting like how that works because, like, first of all, for stand-up comedy, it's not a I've never done it, but I've I listened to a lot of interviews. I just recently listened to Marsha Warfield with Mark Maron, and at the age of 60, she went back on the road again. After 20 something years, and stand-up and first of all, just imagine how much it's changed since 20 years ago.
Oh, and that gives me, my skin is crawling.
Right.
That gives me anxiety.
So it's like anything. If you don't do it a lot, the tool dulls.
Yeah.
Right. And when you haven't done stand up, like you have to do, from watching you, from being around you, the more you do it, the better you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I don't mean like you do it like, 20 times in a month and you take 6 months off and you come back and do it. You have to constantly keep it going to keep that muscle. It's like working out. You have to constantly work out to keep that muscle in shape. So, I mean,
yes.
How are you going into this show like not in shape? Or, is that
I am terrified. Like, I wish I could say that I'm super confident, but I am terrified. I don't know what the crowd is going to think is funny. I have not practiced any of my new material, so I might have to do like older material. And I haven't done that. So I haven't done comedy in 8 months now. I don't know. I'm scared, but I know I can do it. I know it'll be okay, but if I said I wasn't nervous, I'd be lying. I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
I agree. Yeah. Question is here's this will make you feel better though, I think. So, let me turn that off. Here's what I think. So,
okay.
Before all of COVID, we had a lot of options. We had a lot of things we could go do. We could, go to open mics. We could go to, a show on a Tuesday at the launch pad. It's a school night. Right. We could go to, a big concert that's at the Pope Joy. We could go to a show at Pope Joy. We could go to the movie theater. We could go to, whatever. It was all there. We don't have that no more. We have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV. That's it. That's what we have. Then we have if you live with someone, how they're entertaining you. That's it. I'm not saying the bar is lower. I'm just saying that people are like, they're like, they're just like, fuck, man. I took that for granted, Like
I've been doing a lot of work.
Right. I mean, open mic comedy is definitely one of the lower, entertainment things that happens. You're seeing people do things, you're seeing amateurs and pros, and the amateurs are trying the best they can. The pros are trying out new material. So when you go see it, it's kind of a hit or miss. Could get you some giggles. But man, I would go to an open mic comedy show right now in a heartbeat. That's what I'm saying. So that's why, like, you know, we're talking about, you know, I'll go watch someone play their guitar at a coffee shop for an hour. You know, that I don't know. You know, that's a big thing. It's like, fuck, man. Just couldn't, like the art walk yesterday or Friday. So Albuquerque, I mean, most cities, if you live in a major city,
First
Friday, and I've had to explain this to a lot of fucking people. I didn't know this was not a common thing. So in most major cities, and I know for a fact because I went to this one, I go to this one here all the time. I went to the one in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've looked up other cities. Most major cities, the first Friday of the month, there's a major art walk somewhere. And the Albuquerque one was pretty neat, you know, and before the pandemic. Now they've moved everyone outside, so it's an outdoor comedy, outdoor art thing. It's kind of a mishmash of like art and retail stuff. Does that make sense? Dude, I bet there was 1,000 people downtown Friday.
All the markets in town, like everything that you go.
There was a band playing on top of the launch pad. There was a DJ on top of OT Circus. There was a guy singing next to Safe House with PA.
And I saw there were pole dancers at OT as well.
I didn't see that, but was that in the back area?
Yeah, on the patio.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I did not see that part. I'm just saying, I think people are frothing at the mouth for something to do. You know, so I think when you go to Greeley, Colorado, I don't even know where the fuck Greeley, Colorado is. You'll probably have a pretty good crowd, and they'll probably be pretty accepting that they're just getting entertainment that's not one of their family members or something on TV.
Yeah, well, and I heard also socially distanced. It's 150 people can be in this venue.
Okay. That's allowed there, huh?
Well, it's a big enough venue that 6 feet apart, 150 people.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, in Colorado, that they can have over 100 people in a venue, because here I don't think we can. I think that's a law. Which I'm really bummed about, because I really feel like we missed out on real good inside-out weather. Yeah. It's a bummer. What is it? Yeah, I was going to say, what is it you guys are missing right now? Like, the thing that you want to do that's you're not able to. What is the biggest thing?
For me, it's comedy, obviously.
Yeah.
Or going to concerts.
Or going to concerts.
Yeah,
it's work.
Yeah. Work? You're missing work.
Yeah.
We're talking about work, James. I'm just kidding.
I love being work.
Yeah, but you're a principal extra. Can you explain like what that means to people?
Well, it means that I'll probably gonna have screen time.
What's that?
It means I'll probably have screen time.
Okay.
And that I can't just wander around background.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make sure that like oh my need you. I don't know. It means like more.
Means you're gonna work more. So basically, principal extra, you're more like in the close-up background.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll need me for continuity, or maybe I have a name set on screen, but I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. And you already got contacted, you said, by people that saying that they're about to go back to work.
Yeah. All you need to what's safe for their business.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to start seeing like movies and TV shows where people are wearing masks? Or is that just stupid?
Yes.
You think we will?
If they're doing anything,
Yeah. What are you guys watching on TV right now? What's the big binge-worthy thing you're watching right now?
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek?
What are we doing?
Never heard of it. Just kidding. Fucking one. That thing like destroyed the Emmys. Like it broke the Emmys, right? I didn't even know Dan Levy was the creator of that show.
Him and his dad.
No, it was him. Wasn't his dad? It was him and it was him and another guy. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I was like, what? Like that kind of blew my mind. That kind of blew my mind totally. Yeah, because the 6th season dropped out of nowhere like Friday.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like another month.
Oh.
Yeah, it came out. So I started watching this show on Amazon Prime, started and finished this weekend, called Utopia. And it's an adaptation from a British show. And, you know, like anything else, like everybody's like, oh, the British show is so much better. But the Utopia on Prime, it has John Cusack in it and Rainn Wilson. And I barreled through it. It's fantastic. It's like thriller. It's a thriller
I need to watch that.
with lots of twists. Conspiracy theory. Now, the big thing is they had to postpone it because it's like they had already filmed it, and it's about a virus that gets put out, you know, or about viruses that could destroy the world. So they had to postpone it. But it's pretty fantastic, and there's a lot of violence. But it's the villains in this are super scary to me. You know, so I definitely
have to check that out.
2 thumbs up. Utopia. I don't know anybody else who's watched it, so I'm like freaking. I want to talk about it. I'm like, Arr. But it definitely plays off of like comic book culture, because the premise is like these comic book nerds. There's a popular comic book called Dystopia, and they start like a group of them start finding that there's like hidden symbols and meanings within the comic book that leads to the end of the world. And then they find out that there's a new manuscript for the sequel called Utopia. Then they find it, and you know, or they're trying to find it to unravel how to stop the end of the world. And it's kind of interesting. I loved it. I thought it was great.
That sounds really good.
I liked it, and I love John Cusack is amazing in it. And they ask this one phrase, and I feel like it's, you know, it's one of those like things from a show that people are like, oh, or they at least mean it to be that. And it's like, let me get it right though. Okay, so the phrase that they say constantly is, "What have you done today to earn your place in this crowded world?" And it's like, you know, it you know, and it's like the father, he's asking like his family members, like the children, you know, what have you done today to earn your place in this crowded world? And it seems like super like innocent, and as the show goes on, it's like just fucking not at all. You know,
Oh
my
gosh.
it goes from like, oh, I helped a kid at school today who didn't have food, you know, they didn't have enough lunch, so I gave them some of my lunch, and he's like, good for you, to I murdered the 3 people that were going to try to blow the whistle on us, and they're like, oh, good. You know, you're just like, ugh.
Oh my god.
You know?
God.
Yeah. It's like, interesting. So, yeah, definitely check it out. I thought it was fantastic. It was really good.
I need to check that out. That sounds so good.
Yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, I mean, that's the big one. So that's a big question, because like, what is the streaming site you wish you had?
That
That you don't have?
I feel like I have all of them.
Do you? You have Prime?
Because I have Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I have Hulu.
Okay.
I have Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing called Fubo.
Oh, for sports?
It's sports, but it also has all the cable channels.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pornography. It has all the cable channels on it?
Yeah, so I have ID, Lifetime, all the murder channels.
Oh, cable, not like HBO and all that shit. Yeah. Very interesting. Do you have Apple TV? Huh?
I think I'm missing.
I don't have Apple TV.
Do you have Apple TV, James?
No, I don't.
It's kind of a letdown.
Why is it a good reason?
There is none. I couldn't tell you one.
Okay.
I got it because I bought a new iPad, and they gave it to me free for a year. I mean, it's only $5, but like, even if you bought it for $5, I don't know if, you can kind of almost watch everything that's on it in a week and then cancel it. The Beastie Boy documentary is absolutely amazing. There's a TV show called Ted Lasso where, what is his name? Jason Sudeikis plays a American football coach that gets hired to coach an English football team not as a joke, but as like and it's very good. Other than that, I guess there's a show with Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston where they're daytime talk show hosts. I haven't watched that yet, but then there's really not much else. There's the Jason Momoa one where they're all blind. I haven't watched that yet, but there's really nothing else. It's pretty bare bones. I was kind of shocked at how little it had. Like if when the subscription comes up, if they don't really fucking up the game, I would just delete it.
I'm more fun than CW.
CW has their own streaming channel now?
Oh no, it's free.
Oh. It's free, yeah. That's a good one.
I did not know that.
I need to catch up on the Flash, but
Stargirl was amazing.
I don't know what that is.
It's their with the
Superhero one? Yeah. I've heard good things about the Archie series, the Riverdale.
Oh, Riverdale?
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or not, but I've heard good things. I like it. I don't know.
You'll haven't seen it.
I have not, but I heard good things. So we'll see.
But if you're looking for comic book goodness, CW's the best channel.
And it's got its own streaming thing? I'm not understanding where you're. Like, is it a free streaming site?
You can see CW app.
Oh, I have a fucking gripe right here. So, HBO now has this thing called HBO Max, right? And it's like HBO shows, HBO movies. It's like basically HBO, all their stuff. And then they added like extra stuff. Like they have Friends and they have like all these TV shows and like whatever. Right? So I was paying for HBO, which is $14.99 a month. And I looked at it and it was like HBO regular is $14.99 a month. HBO Go or HBO Max is $14.99 a month. So basically I'm paying for the one that was just basically HBO when I could be paying for the one that's HBO with all the extra stuff for the same price.
Really?
So I cancel the regular HBO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Holly, are you able to hear us still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I cancel the regular HBO. I sign up for HBO Max, and because I'm a new subscriber, I get $2 off for a year. So now I'm getting regular HBO and the extra stuff for $2 less. I'm happy. Mm-hmm. Turn on my TV. Right. Turn on my TV. Like I download the app on my iPad. I download the app on my phone. Sign in on my computer. Can watch all the stuff. Cool. Go to my smart TV. Go to download the HBO Max app.
It doesn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Roku doesn't have one. What kind of shit is that?
It's bullshit.
It's like HBO. Get your HBO. You're the OG cable channel. Get your shit together. How the fuck And so now I have HBO Max on everything that I own, and then regular HBO on my TV. Like I can't watch any of the special stuff on there. Weird as fuck, right? What is that? What's that, James?
I have a Chromecast on the smart TV in the living room.
HBO Max?
Yeah, because the apps on my phone.
Yeah.
Not on TV.
Yeah, because they don't have it. What the fuck is that shit? It's like, okay, it's only $15 a month.
It's dumb.
You know? Which at this point, like the other day, I was just sitting there and I was like, I should just get fucking cable TV and delete all this. As much money as I'm paying now. You know? Are we back to cable TV now? Like, we're back to that price, right? But I can't watch the Cubs game because I don't have local channels.
I am still thinking.
You need to get the Fubo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How much is the Fubo? I know how much it is.
We have without HBO.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. It's like $60.
For Fubo? Oh, well, I have Sling. I have Sling TV.
But we get all the sports channels. With Jason's soccer games.
That still wouldn't matter because like I was gonna watch the Cubs game and it was on ABC.
Yeah, we have that on there too.
ABC is on there.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it costs. It costs an HBO Max subscription. If you get my drift here. I'm just kidding.
I get your drift. And we'll talk
That's what
about
it costs.
it.
That's what it costs. Because I already pay like $50 a month for Sling TV. Maybe I should switch over to Fubo.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to watch a documentary on HBO.
Which documentary?
The Vow.
I don't know what that is. I'm also watching The Outsider. Have you seen that on HBO?
It's about cults.
Oh. Well, have you watched The Outsider, the Stephen King miniseries that's on HBO? Jason Bateman? It's pretty eerie, pretty awesome. It's Stephen King, it's good Stephen King, You're like, ooh, like slow. James doesn't like Stephen King.
That sounds so good.
You don't like Stephen King, James?
No.
Oh. Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, you didn't like those? Trash.
Totally love them as movies.
Well, yeah, those. What's that?
Have you ever
read Stephen King? Yeah. I've actually read. If you ask me what writer I've read more of than any, it's Stephen King. Yeah.
Same.
Like have you seen? Okay. Did you guys remember? Did you ever watch the old miniseries, The Stand? Back in the day.
Yes.
You did. Have you seen the previews for the new one? Or who's going to be in the new one?
No, I haven't.
Or who's going to be in the new one? Let me pull this up here. James doesn't care. He's like, I don't know nothing about this. Let me see.
You did recommendations?
Yeah. The Stand is amazing. The Gunslinger series is amazing. Here we go. So this is The Stand 2020. I'm just going to do some of the highlights of this. So the original movie, or the TV show, The Stand, the miniseries, had Gary Sinise, Rob Lowe, I'm trying to remember who else. Molly Ringwald was in the original. So in the new one, you've got James Marsden. Whoopi Goldberg is going to be Mother Abigail. Let's see here. Who else? I was trying to see. Not a lot of it's a lot of those people that you see nowadays, but you just don't know who they are. You know what I mean? But those are like the big ones. James Marsden, Cyclops as Stu Redman. Amber Heard as Nadine Cross, which Nadine was like she was the evil woman, I believe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the girl from Just Shoot Me was the one from the original. I want to know who's playing Nick Andros. Henry Zaga. Because because that character doesn't talk. You remember he just like kind of does sign language the whole time. That was Rob.
Yeah.
Like who was like let's bring Rob Lowe in, and then he's not going to talk, you know. But if you've ever seen The Stand, I'm pretty excited for it to come out, but we'll see. So you don't like any of the?
I'm excited too.
So James, you read Stephen King, you just don't like any of his books.
I'm not a fan of his style.
Nah. Well,
There's his the way he constructs and the way he constructs like actual suspense
yeah.
is great. But then there's like usually like when he pieces of nothing that you need to have there.
I always feel like he has like he can build up a story, then and like you get scared and you're like, man, this is like riveting, and then his finish is always lackluster or a letdown. It to me was a super letdown. Like I remember watching that, and I was like, as a kid, and I was like, every day we'd go to school and be like, oh my god, did you watch it last night? It was so scary. And then at the end, it's like, it's a spider. Spoiler alert, it's a spider, a large spider. And I've read a lot of his books, and I find that to be the case as well. But I mean, for me, his best work is actually not the horror stuff. It's the the lighter stuff. I always love his, like Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. That's his lighter stuff. I feel like those are some of his better work. So I don't know, but The Outsider, we're watching it now, and it's pretty. I mean, I hope the ending isn't like I'm gonna be like, if the ending sucks, because I'm watching it with my lady friend, and we only watch like 2 at a time, and we're almost done, but I hope it's not a letdown.
I hate shows that end with a letdown.
What's that, James?
The show on Hulu.
On Hulu?
It's also based on
what was that? The Stephen King show on Hulu. It's the one where is that the one where he's like, it's a Castle Rock? No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just based off of his like stories.
Yeah.
That's characters from his different stories, right? Well, which is weird because if you ever read the book Needful Things, not the movie, but the book Needful Things, it's actually one of those like greatest hits things where he hits upon several of his like former characters. They like show up in Needful Things, so it's kind of interesting. I always like that movie, The Dark Half, too.
That's a good one.
Which is like based off of him, where he has like his good half and he has his bad half, and they split and become two different people, and the bad one kills people. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I always loved that movie, and it had Timothy Hutton in it. I always liked him. I don't know. I was one of those fans. Who knows? But I think The Outsiders so far has been great. I hope nobody ruins it for me, and I hope it ends well. But I'm just like worried.
I need to watch that one still.
I just want to know like how many TV shows and movies that they have in the can that like we just can, like people are like, oh, the movie industry's going back to work, and I'm like, they kind of, if they can, they should, because like we're running out of shit here, man.
We kind of need it.
Yeah, and James wants to be in it. That's funny. I was talking about that show Ted Lasso, and I just got a commercial for it on my Facebook. Thanks, scary Facebook listener. Oh, here we go. I'm looking at the Albuquerque Reddit. Things you see in New Mexico. Someone has a license plate on their Jeep, and it says blonde, and it's upside down. Huh. Do you ever go on like the Albuquerque Reddit page?
Mm-hmm.
And like go, interesting.
I also like to go on the Rio Rancho Crime Watch.
Oh, really?
What's that like? It's a lot of people complaining about coyotes.
You do see, I was shocked at how many coyotes you see in town here.
Yes,
And skunks.
Yes.
And skunks.
Yes. We have a skunk in our backyard right now.
Oh, raccoons as well.
I love raccoons.
Everywhere.
Well, I had a buddy that lives down, our friend, who lives over by the river. Raccoons got into his chicken coop and killed all of the babies but one.
Oh.
So, love all the raccoons you want, Holly. Murderers.
Never mind.
I'm kidding.
Well, maybe he had a chicken coop.
I guess. I don't know.
You gotta know raccoons are there.
Yeah, they're gonna come for it. I mean, the raccoon's being a raccoon, I don't know.
Raccoon.
Raccoon's gonna raccoon. I went, so one night, it's funny, I've told this story before, but it cracks me up. One night, whenever I lived with Billy and we lived over there by Marble Brewing, I was walking home from downtown and I was walking down First Street, right by Marble, right in front of it, literally. And I just remember staring at my phone. I'm all, and I hear a noise and I look up and very well lit up area, there's a skunk just tearing into a piece of garbage that it has found. And I'm like, oh, when I stop and I'm like, oh shit. And the skunk turns and it looks at me and it's like, you want my garbage? I don't think so. And it just turns and starts running at me. So I turn around and I fucking run. And so I ran back to Marble, around Marble, down the next block, ran around, and then came back down mountain. So I was telling someone that story, and they're like, you ran from a skunk? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Because if they blast you at point blank range, it's awful.
Oh, it's real bad.
Or I could run and be one block over and not have to deal with that bullshit. Why would I not have ran? I never understand people. They're just like, why would you have ran? What's that?
Skunk?
A skunk, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have fear. They're like, fuck you. I'm going to come kick your ass. I feel like the animals.
Skunks are nasty.
I feel like the animals in Albuquerque have that attitude. They're like Albuquerque and they're like, yeah? What do you want? What are you looking at? You staring at me? What are you looking at? And they just come at you like, fuck, I'm going to come at you. I don't give a shit. I just feel like they do. They're just like, fuck it. I don't care.
I had to run around the block to see a skunk outside.
Oh, man, dude. If you're not afraid of a skunk, you're stupid. Because it's not like they're going to bite you and tear you to pieces. They're just going to douse you. And it's awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
I like my clothes.
Yeah.
And they're killing my clothes.
Yeah, you'd have to throw those away.
Yeah.
Burn them.
What are you drinking, James?
Kool-Aid and vodka?
Oh. All right. Fair enough. That's good. I drank too many seltzers last night, and I was very sick this morning.
Oh, I have Santa Fe seltzers.
Yeah?
And I drank too much of them last night.
You hurting today?
Whew, bad.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I feel like we've done our 2 hours. I don't really feel like we need to do anymore. It's a rough one. That was a good interview with Joe. If you guys are listening to this is going to be a separate episode than the Joe Anderson interview. So go back and listen to that show. If you don't live in Albuquerque, Joe Anderson is the music promoter of Albuquerque. I mean, he doesn't run the big Isleta amphitheater venue, but I think he could book shows there if he probably wanted to. But he books shows at the Albuquerque Civic Center, Sunshine Theater, Moonlight Lounge, Launchpad. What's that other place? Inside Out and El Rey.
Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine. Yeah, that's the big one. That's his big one. I think that's where his offices are, I think. Actually, no, I think his offices are in Launchpad. Upstairs. I don't know. Was he sitting? Yeah. Was he sitting down when we did the interview?
Probably not.
Because they said he doesn't sit down. I've heard stories of that. So I don't know. Go back and listen to that. But anything you guys want to promote?
Just Greeley, Colorado. November 20th.
Nice. James?
Hopefully I'll be booked up.
You're going to be on a TV show. Holly Ann, you want to say you're going to be doing comedy because this is going to be a separate episode. So Greeley, Colorado, you're going to be doing stand-up comedy.
Yes, I will be doing stand-up comedy in Greeley, Colorado with Kurt Fletcher and Don Morgan.
Nice. And James, you're on The Brave, Midnight Texas, and hopefully something soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I helped found a group called the Burlesque Podcasters Guild. If you are in the Albuquerque area and you would love to start a podcast, we have a website, I believe. Let me see. I know I spelled that wrong. Podcasters Guild. Let me pull it up. Anyway, we have studio space in the B. Rupee building, and our launch date is going to be November 6th. We're going to have a launch party of sorts, the best we can with COVID-19, with a food truck at the B. Rupee building, and you guys are all invited. That week, we'll be doing a special show. I think it's on a Tuesday. I'll have more information later. I don't know exactly. And we're all going to do cross-promotion between the shows to kind of promote the whole thing. But basically, we're starting a studio for people who want to start a podcast. Or if you want a business and you would love for us to podcast for you, we will also do that. So it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for it. Keep on the lookout for it. And, yeah. But I hope you guys, thank you guys for doing the show today. I had a lot of fun. And I just want to say thank you guys for listening. And with that, we are 10 drink minimum. Hey, thanks for that. Nobody helped me on that one. Thanks, guys. Later.
I think my mic went out.
Yeah.